All right, guys. What is up? Jack is on his way. Uh, because he's currently going to WrestleDream tonight. Actually, I want to show. If you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen this shirt 100 times, but I'll show you off my shirt here. Here's my get up. I try to change the get up for every episode. So today is the Xanax T-shirt, buddy. This is it's an old Xanax ad they used to put out, and it makes me miss vintage ads actually. But we are here live with you. Just give Jack a second here. I'm gonna put up our ticker just so you can see exactly what we're getting into here today. So it is the 12th day of Halloween. This is an early show. Usually we don't start this early in the day. You know, usually on Saturdays we're kind of midday, evening kind of thing, which works for everybody. But with everything going on today, like I said, he is attending WrestleDream, which we're going to get into here today. As far as other topics, we do have an insane slate of college football games. Kind of some rivalry week kind of shit, really. Stench of the week is coming later in the show. As I said, day 12 of Halloween. We have October baseball to get into. Creepy wrestling fans are going to be a topic. Let's see here. Yes, election night coverage. As I always tell you guys, election night coverage will be live. I'll be renting a loft for election night. I hope we're going to have many guests on here today. Let's see here. Some more going down here. Let's see. So, yeah, at this point, we're just waiting for Jack. If I seem a little subdued today and calm, it's because I am. So I made the mistake of taking a couple of Xanax last night that I did not expect to bleed into today. Man, they did a fucking number on me, buddy. I'll tell you that, dude. Best sleep of my life, to be honest with you. We can talk about, before he gets in here, he'll be here any moment. We could talk about the Dodgers finally breaking through to the NLCS in a year that I feel like they actually deserve it, because all the other ones were not all the other, but the most recent one that they did anything was kind of cheap to me. As we said, should have an asterisk by that World Series title. But let's see, man. You know what? Let me pull up some Daily Mail and see exactly what we got going on in the world here. Let's see. All right, let's see here. Share some Daily Mail with you guys. There was one on here that I thought was from today, but I just kept the tab open from yesterday. We have more lies from Kamala Harris with her doctor releasing her medical report with details about her lifestyle, diet, and drinking habits. But what else is new there? You know, she's always fucking lying about something. So, let's see. Let's see here. Ooh, well, you know what? Yeah, let's get into this a little bit. Let's see. Pull this up. Because a lot of you know I'm a huge Kanye fan. And they're trying to Me Too my buddy Kanye. Let's see. All right, let's pull this up here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let's go ahead and present this to you guys. Share screen. Okay. So, our buddy Kanye, well, maybe not all of you are buddies of Kanye, but I sure am. And so Kanye West accused of drugging and raping his ex-assistant Lauren Piscotti at Diddy party in bombshell lawsuit. Well, first of all, we need to take a look at Miss Lauren Piscotti. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm not going to say that I get it, but recommend drugging anybody. Okay. It's not the way you go about things. You don't drug somebody in order to coerce them into doing things with you. It's not cool. But let's see what this shit says here. Drugged and raped. Okay. That was years before she worked with him. He drugged and raped her, only allegedly confessing to this in last week's at her boss. Oh, as her boss. Okay. She claims she met West when he invited her client, a musician, to a studio session and party he co-hosted with his friend Diddy. West announced that everyone at the party at the Santa Monica studio had to drink. Okay, if they wanted to stay. Now that's something I can understand. Like if you're not getting down with what I'm doing, you can leave. Piscotti, after a few sips, suddenly started to feel disoriented and began to slip into an altered and highly impaired state. She felt less in control of her body and speech. And that is where her memories of the night escaped her. Okay, everything's adding up so far as that goes. But this is readily available information online from victims and, court cases and, whatever. The next day, she felt ashamed and embarrassed, and she couldn't remember the evening, and her musician client refused to discuss what happened. I'm not denying a victim or anything like that, but I don't know. It just seems convenient. Oh shit, Jack's here.
Yeah,
hey, buddy.
All
right, here we go, guys.
Is that Kanye West you're talking about?
Yeah, so some woman, this is her, okay?
Yeah.
Very attractive woman, is alleging that Kanye drugged and raped her at a Diddy party, saying that he basically said that if you're not drinking here at this party with me, you can leave.
Yeah, I heard that part. That's
from that end. That doesn't prove anything to me because if you're going to be around, so if you're going to be around me and I'm throwing a party and you're not going to do what I'm doing, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? That makes sense to me. But she started to feel disoriented. And...
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying it's not. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's not the most damning evidence you can have.
No, right, and so all this stuff that she's accusing, and I'm not victim. I'm not like saying that it didn't happen. I'm just saying that everything that she's saying is kind of what people would say if you were against somebody trying to get some money. You know what I mean? like all this stuff you can just find online from previous victims.
It's like what you said. It's the most convenient time too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Is your camera on?
Come on. All right. Okay. All right. Good enough. So, I was just breaking people down on the type of show we have tonight. About how you're attending WrestleDream
or Wrestle Nightmare. I was just looking at the card while I was at the coffee shop again.
Yeah, and I listen, man. Me and you have talked about this personally many times. I want to like AEW. I do.
I want them to sell out stadiums like WWE too.
Right. I don't want them to be something that's like a B promotion. I don't want that.
It went from not competitor, but solid mainstream alternative to now it's this circus sideshow.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like a carnival company.
Like tonight is a pay-per-view that people are paying money for, and my tickets first market were less than what you would typically pay for the pay-per-view. And it's not it's in an older, it's not in the Kraken Arena, it's in a different place, in the Tacoma Dome, but still it's a whole card that was thrown together in 2 weeks. And
you want to know what's funny? What was it? What was the show they did? The one that Arthur Ashe Stadium. What is it?
Grand Slam.
Grand Slam. Okay. And you had texted me about it, and you're like, "Yo, this card is something I should be seeing at WrestleDream." And I go, "Well, yo, with the way Tony books, you probably will be seeing it."
And it pretty much is. Like they just did Ricochet and Ospreay 2 weeks ago at the anniversary show, but then they just added the Japanese guy. I forgot his name.
Takashita. Yeah. And you
then,
know, I'm fine with like if this card was in place before like seeing most of this shit, it would be fine. But for whatever reason, Tony Khan and the entire company hasn't mastered the art of making people wait for something.
Yeah.
He wants to give it all away to you. And like, I kind of get it because you want to have the best show possible every week. But the WWE model is, and how it's been since I was a kid, is you may have, say, for example, like Edge versus Cena on Raw, right? But you don't get the full match with a fair conclusion.
You get a disqualification or some shit.
Yeah, and then it makes you want the whole match.
Want more. That's how. And then it's funny. I figured that out when I was very young because, like, when I first started watching wrestling, like hardcore, was like during like the first John Cena and Orton, and then it would be like, oh, they're gonna have the title match tonight, or I actually remember it was the WrestleMania 25 lead up when they did Cena versus Edge versus Big Show, and then they're like, we're gonna have the world title match tonight of John Cena versus Edge, and then I remember I was like, well, even as an 11-year-old or 12, I was 12, like nothing's gonna happen tonight, and then I remember what happened was Cena lifted up Edge for an AA, and then Edge had the world heavyweight title in his hand, and then fucking hit him in the face with it.
Right, and then you're sitting there and you're like, oh shit, dude, now what's going to happen in the real match because he just pissed them off a little bit more. You know what I mean?
And back then that was before streaming Peacock WWE Network, so you actually had to pay for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you froze there for a second, buddy. Oh, you're back.
Okay, so what I was saying was this was before the streaming Peacock. Anybody could afford it, and that was back. I mean, unless you had your ways, you had to pay for it.
Yeah,
you really had to make you want to pay for it. And there was a dark time in WWE in like 2019, 2018, where they were having these garbage PLEs every 3 weeks.
Oh, dude. Yeah, because
like Stomping Grounds, which is in the same arena as I'm going to tonight. Just garbage like that thrown together every single month.
Yeah, and like the idea, I got the theoretical idea of it because I don't even know if maybe you were watching back then or maybe you were too young, but the first brand split, it was they would have a Raw pay-per-view and a SmackDown pay-per-view. It was spread out though.
Yeah.
It was like every other. So like 1 month would be Raw, next month would be SmackDown. So you would have like 2 months between that brand's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The second run around, it was like, let's do a pay-per-view of each the same month. And it's like, nah, dude, because what worked about that is it made TV better.
That's why they always consider, like, especially the late 2010s was WWE's, like, honestly, its toughest period because back in those days, they just the product wasn't that good and they just asked for way too much of our time. You had 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, NXT UK, and then you had a pay-per-view. You had a pay-per-view like every other week.
Yeah, and it's like, I love wrestling, but I have a life outside of wrestling. You know what I mean?
Like, they were asking for like 10 or 15 hours of our time almost every week.
Yeah. And I guess that kind of speaks to how they view us as wrestling fans, especially Vince. Because I'll never forget a story. There was this old writer, I forget who his name was, but when WWE Network first came out, he was taking a flight back with Vince somewhere, and he was watching something like Netflix or Peacock or something on the plane.
Yeah.
And Vince walks up to him and he's like, "What are you watching?" He's like, "Oh, I'm watching a movie." And he goes, "Well, why aren't you watching WWE Network?" And he's like, "Well, I love wrestling, but I want to watch other stuff too." And just that's like Vince's mindset, and I get it because he built the whole thing. His whole life is wrestling, but mine isn't, bro. Like maybe I do want to watch a fucking horror movie on a flight.
I want to watch sports. I want to watch a sitcom.
Yeah.
I want to watch, other things.
Yeah. So his whole, like I said, his whole life is wrestling. So I get it from his perspective. But fuck, dude. Like
that's why, when I was a kid, my dream job, actually in high school, we had to do a senior project, and you could do extraordinary shit, like build a fucking robot or something. You could also literally you could job shadow someone, which is literally you just go and for an X amount of hours that were required, you just had to go and
do their job.
You just had to go and sit and just watch someone work. And I technically kind of still do it with this, just not paid for it, but my dream job as of course, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a fucking basketball player or shit like that. But when I got a little bit older, my aspiring career was journalism. So what I would do is my senior project, I job shadow people at my local newspaper, and I would just go over there after school, here and there, and just watch them work for 2 hours. I'd go on assignments with them. I'd go to for the first guy I shadowed before he moved.
Yeah.
He was the public safety guy. So I'd go to the courthouse with him and read court documents and shit. But anyway, I could people were always like, "Oh, you should be a sports writer. You should be a sports writer." But and that sounds awesome. But if you start off in journalism, you have to go if I were to have got a journalism degree, I would have had to go to some other city and cover a team I don't like. And my heart can't do that. I'd rather work a job like I have now and be able to enjoy sports. I don't I like having a job like I do and then being able to pursue other little creative aspects and stuff as opposed to just my whole life being covering sports. And that's just me. Other people different, but that's just me personally. I don't want my whole life to be sports or my whole life to just be wrestling or something. I like my own diversity that I've created.
Yeah, to have a variety of life, essentially. Yeah, because I was the same way. To where it's dude, I love wrestling. From a young age, I think every wrestling fan, when you're a kid, you want to be a wrestler, right? You just do.
There was a time. Oh, go ahead.
No, you just want to be a wrestler, but then you understand that I can't just send in an application and be yo, I think I'd be good at this. Nah, dude, it takes your whole life, dude. You got to dedicate a lot, bro.
I got a couple of friends who they've wrestled. So there's an independent promotion here in Seattle where I'm at. It's called Defy. It's where Darby Allin came from, Swerve came from, a couple others. But anyway, it's cool. And I've gone to I think I've gone to three of their cards. Two of them in Seattle, and they had one in Yakima once. But I have some friends who are pro wrestlers, and their mainstay has been Defy, but then they've also been able to go down south in Atlanta for some promotions in California. And then the WrestleMania, the last New York WrestleMania, actually this year in Philly, because you know how in WrestleMania weekend they have all the indie shows.
All the indies show up.
Yeah. So this past WrestleMania weekend, they wrestled on some show. And then I remember the New York WrestleMania, they were on a card too, but they've been at it for 6-7 years. And they've been back when AEW Dark was a thing. They wrestled on that a few times. And then they've been called multiple times for when Raw or SmackDown's in the area to be an extra, a security guard or some shit like that. Yeah. But sometimes you get called as an extra but you aren't picked for anything. But they notice that you keep showing up, so eventually you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's countless examples of that, like MJF being the security guard.
Joe. There was MVP was once a security guard for Kurt Angle's medals or some shit. CM Punk in the John Cena Mafia Chicago entrance.
Yeah, and I want to say, I think it was LA Knight. I think that was somebody's lawyer or something on like SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was some kind of angle. I forgot who it involved, but I'm pretty sure I remember him coming out as somebody's lawyer or some shit. But I mean, LA, I'd give that dude mad respect, dude, because he extended past wrestling, dude. He was doing like TV commercials and
he was in Aldi grocery store commercials.
Yo, so that's a dude who wanted it, dude. Like his passion for this shit, like he was just down to do whatever just to keep this shit moving until he wanted to get, you know.
Another example, I mean, this was after he was like already in NXT, but Adam Rose, the party guy.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman was a and I think
Braun a lot Strowman of them were, bro.
Party guys.
Yeah, dude. A lot of them were. I think Alexa was one. Alexa Bliss was one. Also, her and Sasha and another one that's escaping me.
It was Charlotte.
Charlotte for the Triple H entrance.
Where Triple H, the New Orleans Superdome entrance.
Yeah. So when it comes to wrestling, man, if you want to break in, if you really want to do it bad enough, you know, like you said, you just keep showing up. Oh, they're gonna find something for you.
And then the SmackDown that I went to here in Seattle, that Kevin Owens tag team partner.
Yeah.
And then he stunned him, and then Randy Orton came out. That's another guy that was from Defy here, the independent promotion. So it's like it's just little things like that you're gonna get eventually. And then also my friend Guillermo Rosas, who is the guy who's been on AEW Dark and stuff. So before AEW started, the Young Bucks went on like this farewell tour of all these independent promotions.
Yeah.
And they would never tell anyone where they're showing up to, but they would like drop little subtle hints, like then they were going to show up at Defy. So they took a picture of like them in front of the original Starbucks building. And my friend, and then when they showed up at the end of that Defy show, my friend Guillermo was the one that took the super kick from the Young Bucks.
Oh, no shit. That's kind of cool, dude.
So it's like, even if you never main event WrestleMania, like it's cool little things like that. And the first time I ever saw him wrestle before I like knew him as a friend, his tag team partner a lot of times is Super Crazy. The Mexican.
Oh, yeah. I used to fuck with Super Crazy, yo. And you know, I was thinking too, while we're on the topic, you know, every other indie promotion has a solid relationship with WWE. And I understand that AEW is not a fucking indie promotion, right? They're a step above that, right?
Yeah.
They're not exactly WWE, but they're a little bit below. But I just think that if Tony Khan wasn't such an asshole when you know the company first started, they could probably also be a part of WrestleMania weekend. But because of the temperature and the culture that you created, they don't want no parts of you.
I mean, technically they are, because they still do the ROH show. So in a sense, they are.
Yeah, true.
And then like that guy that's in the Jericho Learning Tree, Brian Keith.
Yeah.
I originally saw him. I went to that, I don't know if you remember, I went to that Indie Defy show in Yakima last year, and the main event was Swerve versus El Viking or something like that.
Yeah.
But Brian Keith was like on an undercard match on that show. And then like 2 months later, he popped up on Collision. I was like, oh shit, that's that guy I just saw here like 2 months ago. And now he's like, I mean, granted, we know the state of AEW, but he's in an angle. He's in a group with Chris Jericho. Like, I don't know, what more can you ask for?
Yeah. So while we're on the topic, I did pull this up. I did pull the card up. Let me see if I can pull it back up here. Oh, wait, I actually downloaded it, actually. Let me see here. Let's see. Just because I want to go over the card. Like me and you were talking about though, like it's not like that it's on the caliber of like a Full Gear or anything like that, but
No.
a pay-per-view is a pay-per-view, and you should have build for matches on a pay-per-view. And I understand that in that era that we were talking about with Raw and SmackDown not being the best kind of thing.
Yeah.
They still tried to have a build up for some, like there was a reason that matches were happening. Now their fucking main event. Okay, I understand that. You know, Mox did what he did at the last pay per view, which is cool, dude. Because when it happened, I'm like, oh shit, dude, where is this gonna go?
Yeah,
like this could be heading somewhere, and it just didn't. And now you're having a main event based off of what, dude? I don't
like we still don't know why he turned on him.
That's what I'm saying. And then this is like the main event of your show. So let's start from the bottom here.
And then another thing is like last year's WrestleDream was like this big built up thing, like, oh, it's an homage to Japanese wrestling and all this stuff. And it was a big built up thing. And now it's just like this afterthought card that honestly, like on paper, it looks like it could be a WWE live event. Like that's what the quality of it looks like. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna have a good time. I can't be $37 tickets, but it's just like it's hard to enjoy wrestling to the fullest when there's so little substance to it.
And that's the argument that the AEW people like to say is like, I like in-ring wrestling. I do too, bro, but there's more to wrestling than that.
Like all the bloodline shit every week for the last 4 years makes you want to tune in again.
Right. So like 0 hour, we got Brian Cage against Atlantis Jr. here. I mean, it is a pre-show. It is a pre-show match. So whatever, dude. Anything on a pre-show, I really can't judge it. It's whatever, dude.
Chris Jericho versus Mark Briscoe that's a cool match, like a cool, especially also for the title it's for, and the two guys in it, like that's honestly like they could have probably done so much more than they did, but it's like that's a cool nostalgia. That's like two older eras clashing for a classic and honestly for a pretty prestigious title. I mean, not in recent years, but that could have been so much more than it is going to be, at least.
And the fucking buildup for this was that Chris Jericho insulted his dead brother is pretty much, and I mean, like you said, there could have been done so much more for that, dude. And also, Chris Jericho, he needs a reason to want to compete for the fucking thing. He's Chris Jericho. He's the first ever undisputed. And I understand that they don't acknowledge WWE history, which I get it. You're a separate company, but there should be a reason that he wants this. You know what I mean? Like,
besides just a blood feud.
Yeah.
A grudge feud.
Yeah. And plus, I mean, let's be honest. And this is no hate on Jericho. He's a legend, dude, just based off what he's done before AEW. He was already a legend to me. But this run right here, it just hasn't been good. It just hasn't.
Yeah, it's like he's worn out his welcome in wrestling in general. It's like, dude, it's time to Sting is 60 fucking years old, but like the way his presence in AEW was done the right way. He wrestled not a lot, but he did. Yeah. But like he helped build Darby Allin up so much. Like Chris Jericho is an old 50-something-year-old man just hogging the spotlight. When he first came in, when AEW first started, he was that star they needed. But now it's kind of the time where it's like, yeah, you can wrestle, you could be around, but it's like, dude, you gotta like help build some younger talent up instead of just hog the fucking spotlight.
That's the thing. Is like a lot of wrestlers, when they get older, they want to pass the torch. They want to help the business move forward, and it seems like he doesn't. It seems like he has no interest in it, dude, at all.
Like Sting. Like I remember watching the that Monday Night Wars show years ago, and they talked about how like Undertaker didn't care who went over in a match because he wanted what was best for the overall success of his peers and for the company.
Yeah,
that's like why
that's how it should be.
That's why WCW went to shit, because every single guy got creative control. I don't know if you've ever seen like that Dark Side of the Ring Bash at the Beach 2000, but like that went down the way it did because the wrestlers and stuff would get to the arena and they'd have the scripts ready 2 hours before showtime, and then Hulk Hogan would demand everything get fucking rewritten to favor him.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
They gave every single bigger guy creative control.
Yeah, and he would say all the time, "That doesn't work for me, brother." Sadly, I do think the only match with proper build on this thing is Hologram versus Mortos. I think, like, I mean, it's like storyline wise, it's the only thing I'm interested in, really.
Yeah. I would have been intrigued by those guys so much when I was like 11 years old with their masks and shit.
Yeah, and like that's one thing that WWE does that they don't. WWE has something for everybody. Yeah. AEW is secular to, if you like in-ring wrestling, this is for you. But when I was 11 or 12 years old, like looking back at it now, you know, I love a good match. But I think the reason that the Attitude Era was popular is because it wasn't about the matches. I mean, to an extent, it was. But
it was about the characters.
Yes, and like why they're fighting, and like, oh shit, he really hates this guy. What's he gonna do when they get in the ring?
And then, oh, go ahead.
No, it's just like you like when that pay-per-view was coming on. Of course, I cared about the main event, but I also cared about Val Venus versus The Godfather because they had a beef.
Yeah, and so when you're a kid, I remember when you said when you watched Sopranos as a kid, you only wanted to see fucking people getting shot. Same as me. Like when I was a kid and I watched Star Wars because I liked Star Wars when I was like 9 years old a lot.
Yeah.
I only wanted to see fucking lightsaber fights. Remember when I told you the first time I watched wrestling was the Eddie and Ray feud with little kid Dominic. When I remember the first episode of SmackDown I ever watched, it was this Eddie and Ray with Dom there.
Yeah,
cutting this promo, and they were talking, and I was like 9 years old, and I was like, why don't they just fight? Why don't they just wrestle? Why are they just talking? This is stupid. I want to see them fight. I don't want to see them talk.
Right.
And then I remember that specific SmackDown, there was someone sitting like up front with a sign that said "Shut up and wrestle," and it was literally like how I felt at the time. But now I get it. Like a match is cool because it's like the feud coming together, I guess you could say.
Yeah, no, it makes you want to care. And that's what I'm trying to say about the AEW fans is like, I get it, dude. You're watching wrestling, you want to see wrestling. But there's a reason why the WWE is the king up here is because they understood that we're about wrestling too, but it's the reason why they're wrestling that also matters.
Because if I could just go to some fucking independent show and for $10 and watch fucking matches any week I wanted or most weeks.
Yeah. So next up here we got Darby Allin and Brody King. They've been trying with this one.
Yeah.
You know, they've been having like Brody like attack him at fucking like rock concerts or like wherever he goes. You know what I mean? So at least they're trying with that one. I'm pretty sure Darby Allin's gonna do some wild shit for you guys because, like you said, he does go crazy for these hometown shows. So I'm expecting him to do some wild shit, you know, jump off the rafters or something. I don't know. He's gonna do something, you know.
On paper, that Hangman and Jay White in like 2018, I would have like loved to see that. So like in 2018. 2019, I really tried to get into like New Japan Pro Wrestling before AEW started.
Yeah.
But again, like it's hard. There was just no like that's what I think you said it actually. Like honestly, AEW is kind of like our American version of New Japan because it's more like a sport than it is wrestling. But like seeing that match I would have been hyped to see that match in 2018, and it's still cool. But it's like, what is it? It's not a fucking blood feud like Swerve and Hangman Page.
And someone put something on Twitter yesterday or this morning, it might have been, and they're like, it's the 5-year anniversary. Pretty much, they just had the 5th year Dynamite. So they've been around 5 years. What's the best thing to come out of AEW? And it has to be Swerve Hangman. It has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. I mean, that's not to say that everything they've ever done is wrong, but I feel like that's the only home run that they've hit, dude. That feud has been amazing.
That's been one of the. I feel like the best feuds of the last 18 months have been Swerve and Hangman and Drew and Punk. Yeah, and anything involving the bloodline, of course.
Yeah. But to get on to what we were just talking about, the Hangman Jay White thing, didn't this just start because fucking like Jay White attacked Hangman at the end of a match or some shit? Now I'm fine with that if you set that up a month ago.
Yeah,
but you didn't. You set it up like 2 weeks ago, dude. Like what the
like all these things could have been started like right after All Out, which was over a month ago. That was like September 7th.
Yeah, and I think that this is part of why AEW is going downhill, is because beforehand they had the model of just their major pay-per-views.
Yeah, they had like 4 or 5 a year, and it made you want more. Now they have one almost every month with nothing like prepared properly.
Yeah, and like we've said a lot, their pay-per-views always bang. You'll never get a complaint about them about an AEW pay-per-view. It's their weekly TV.
Aside from them being so fucking long.
Yeah. But like outside of their weekly TV, that's something that they really do well. And for whatever reason, they can't master the art of using their local, not local, weekly TV to build up a pay-per-view.
Yeah. Like you could use Collision for something so much better. I can't even remember the last time I watched Collision, but
I watched Collision once when CM Punk opened it.
CM Punk one, like again, like that was what it was supposed to be. But when you watch it in the last year, it's like all it is just like independent guys basically getting these one-off chances to perform for a bigger crowd. But is it even a bigger crowd? No.
Which is what Dark was.
Yeah. And so now basically like ROH is basically Dark now, but you have to pay for it. You have to be in that honor club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm sure Hangman and White. I'm sure it'll be good. Yeah, sure it'll be fine, dude. But I just need stories behind my wrestling, and the AEW fans like to laugh at people about that. But it's fucking true. It's true. I want to have a reason for why these guys are fighting. Even UFC is a reason for why these guys are fighting.
A lot, at least 1/3 or half of the time, yeah.
And then we got Jack Perry against Shibata. I don't even know what to say about that one.
They could be using. A lot of people hate Jack Perry. I think he's very underrated as a heel character. I think he's great.
Me too.
He's small and shit. I get that, but like they could be using that title reign so much better. But they're just giving him random fucking challengers every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and if you want to do that, that's fine. But make it as an open challenge, like how Cena used to do it. Whoever back there, come on out. That worked.
And then it turned into actual feuds because, like Kevin Owens won.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Swerve returning. I don't know why they're at. Well, I guess I kind of do why they're advertising it because from where it's at. Yeah. But still, like, imagine the pop if it wasn't advertised.
Yeah. Like The Rock, we knew The Rock was going to show up last week, but it wasn't advertised.
Right. So
not that this is The Rock, not that this is the level of The Rock, but still.
Like for example, everyone had an idea about the CM Punk return at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
But the way they played it was genius because they had the credits on the screen. You were just like,
yeah, they had the copyright, the thing that as it goes up there, the copyright. Yeah. I remember watching that at my friend Kevin's house, who I'm going to the show with tonight, and it had that copyright thing at the bottom. We're like, oh well, maybe the Royal Rumble or something, and then 30 seconds later, his music hit.
Yeah, and like wrestling doesn't evoke emotion out of me anymore because I've watched it for so long. You know, I'm not a kid anymore. But when that happened and his fucking music hit, I jumped out the chair. I'm like, yo, like. You know?
I think at the very least, I had my hands on my head.
Yeah, and you're just like, what the fuck? And that's what us having an idea that it might. And now, you just gave away,
And what's he gonna do? Talk about some bullshit for 5 minutes and that's it?
And like, if it wasn't advertised, I'm like, oh, I might have been like, yo, he's probably gonna interfere in the Hangman match or something. Have an idea, and it just takes all the mystery away. It really does.
I mean, there is this swirling about Shane McMahon, and that he posted that picture with the Young Bucks. There is that swirling.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing with the Young Bucks is that they like to fuck with people.
True.
So that could be just them teasing. It could have just been that they really did have a fight with them and want to fuck with people.
True.
So I don't know. I guess we'll see, because the Moxley thing, a lot of people are saying that with the Moxley thing, with him saying like, this isn't your company anymore, it might be a Shane McMahon thing.
And then it's both him and Danielson are former WWE stars.
Right. But then again, that feeds into what you don't want it to feed into. You want to be the opposite.
Yeah.
Of WWE. And then if you do that, it steps on everything that you're supposed to be. So I don't know. The company as a whole is in disarray. And these AEW fanboy guys, they kind of I don't know, man. They're very fickle people. I don't know, because one minute they'll be like, fuck the McMahons. But then if Shane McMahon showed up, their whole shit changes.
Yeah.
So for the women's match, I actually feel this way too. People say that this was only added because someone told Tony Khan, yo, there's no women on this show. And he's like, oh yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Because really, I mean, there's no build for this. And honestly, when there's championship stuff, I'm on the fence of whether there should be a build or not. This ranking system that they had, which I wasn't a fan of it anyway, because I feel like the ranking system already exists. If let's say for example that someone that me and you know has a title, right, and me and you go at it, and me and this dude, like, so all three of us have a history, right? And me and you go at it, and you beat me, and I beat him in the past, then that should give you a fucking title match based off of logic. Yeah. It shouldn't be like, oh, you're having a fight because he's 3 and he's 1. Like, put a fucking story behind it, man. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Because, like, even in UFC, like in a real sport, they don't always do the number one contender. They do who's available. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because sometimes the number one ranked guy isn't always available because he just fought a month ago or some shit. So sometimes, like last week on UFC, the light heavyweight title was the champion versus the 6th ranked guy because that was who was available and that's who wanted to take the fight.
Right.
At that time, at least.
Yeah, exactly. We have the Young Bucks versus Private Party. I will say this about this match. The last time the Young Bucks and Private Party went at it, it was great.
Yeah.
It really was. The Young Bucks, as much hate as they get, they can bring the best out of pretty much any other tag team. So
you can always count on them for entertainment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
I'm not as big of a fan as their heel characters. I don't really like
it's awful.
Their outfits are fucking stupid to me. But you can always count on them to be entertained.
One thing I've been wondering, because I'm not sure if Kenny Omega's cleared yet, but I do know that he's getting closer to it. I wonder if when he comes back that he's going to side with them, because they have a history. They were the Elite. I'm pretty sure Kenny's EVP 2. So storyline, it would make sense. But I don't know. Kenny's so beloved, and he seems like a type of dude that doesn't want to get booed all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe upon his return, he won't like them anymore. I'm not sure. We did talk about this over text last night. I think this triple threat's gonna bang, dude.
I'll be make sure I'm not gonna blink during this one.
Yeah, I'll be seated. I'll make sure all my bathroom breaks and all that are out of the way. I can't even pick a winner. I would not hate Takashita winning this shit, man. I really would. I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't mind it either. He definitely deserves it.
He can fucking go, dude. He can.
I just realized is why didn't they have Okada on this card?
I mean, I wish I could say storyline wise, blah blah blah.
Yeah, like they literally when they pulled out the concept of WrestleDream last year, they're like, it's going to be a tribute to Japanese wrestling, and there's 2 Japanese guys on the whole card.
Yeah. I'm glad he's on it. I'm glad he's because I'm a big fan of his, dude. His match against Ospreay was through the fucking roof.
Yeah,
incredible, dude, incredible. As far as picking a winner, like I said, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind him. I could see Ospreay keeping it though.
Yeah, I think I could too.
And then we get to our main event, which should have been like a blood feud. It should have been like how Swerve and Hangman is. Like, I want to kill you.
Yeah, and it should have gone on off and on for months and months, but they threw it together after 3 weeks. Yeah. And now, like, we don't even know where we stand, really, you know?
And someone made a good point on Twitter. This is supposed to be like a quasi-retirement / fucking blood feud kind of thing. And we don't know why. We don't... There's no reasoning, man. Like, why did you try to kill him with a plastic bag? Why did you try to do that?
And like I said, when they announced that WrestleDream was going to be in the Seattle area again, and they also that, you know, Bryan Danielson said this was going to be his last year as a wrestler, it was like, okay, something, you know, this is towards the end of the year. Something will lead to this. But, like, it hasn't really. And if he were to lose the title and this is his last match, like, that's not the way to go out.
No. And, like, maybe it'll be at Full Gear, maybe. But, you know, even then, I feel like a feud with Bryan Danielson, the career that he's had and all that he has done, it deserves a better send-off than a month-long feud.
Yeah.
It just does, dude. You know, just like Kofi finally winning it. That wasn't out of the blue. That was like 3-4 months of buildup.
In a sense, it was kind of like Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30, where like we kind of had to force the fans kind of. I mean, whether it was kayfabe or whether that actually influenced it, it was kind of both of them were like the fans forcing their hand into it.
Yeah, and you know, when you have a guy like him at the end of his career, probably, if not the best of our generation, easily top 5, and probably top 10 ever, depending on your ranking system, probably top 10 ever. And as the end of a career kind of thing, he deserves a lot better.
Yeah,
he really does. He really does. And so the reason that we're questioning of whether it's WrestleDream or Wrestle Nightmare is because, honestly, there's just no build. There's just no fucking build. And pay-per-views deserve better than that to me.
Especially something that, again, unless you have your ways, people are going to be forking out $50 for this, you know?
Yeah, and
this is no different than like a fucking random Dynamite card if you really look at it.
Yeah, and that's why in the recent years when WWE drops the ball on something, right? I can't fucking complain because I paid $4.99 to watch it.
It's basically, you can find that in fucking change in your house. You can find $8 in change.
Like, yo, you want to know what? I wanted to mention this too. Remember the last NFL playoffs? Everyone was so pissed because there's games on Peacock, like exclusively on Peacock.
Yeah.
It's $5.
Yeah, and it's not like some of these streaming apps have a fucking catch to them, like ESPN Plus, where they're like, oh, you can't watch any of this shit unless you have a cable provider, like DirecTV or some shit. But like, there's no catch to Peacock. It's just $5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Same as Prime, like the Thursday Night Football that's on Prime. That's no more than like $15. Like,
well, and see, the thing with Prime, I will never complain about Prime because you're getting something else with Prime.
You're getting a lot more with it. You know,
I'm getting 2-day delivery. I'm getting
discounts up the ass. All these other movies and shows and shit, you know?
Yeah, and all you're getting with a lot of them, like, for example, I love HBO Max. I think it's the best one out there. But at least with HBO Max, I know that I'm getting quality shit, dude.
Yeah.
You know? So, I did want to ask one thing. Oh, yeah, so, like you said, you are going in person, and it costs you how much to get into the door to this thing? $37?
We bought our tickets when they went on sale in like August, I think. And I think before processing fees or whatever that crap, taxes, whatever. I think before all that, they were $37. And I don't.
Like the pay-per-view is $50, so you're going in person, watching it live with your own two fucking eyes, for less than what people are going to pay to order.
And again, they weren't like last-minute StubHub tickets people are trying to get rid of. They were literally bought in like August when they went on sale. And it's in a pretty big place. So I don't know how much of it they're gonna have like tarped off or covered up or whatever, because it's in this.
So you can actually be a part of the community online who gets to post the pictures of fucking like, hey guys, this is how empty it is.
When I went to that Dynamite in Everett, which is like a little bit north of Seattle in May, that was, at the time at least, it was the lowest in terms of TV viewership. It was the lowest viewed one of all time. Wow. But yeah, it's like, I remember I just sent a picture to like my brother and my dad, like, and my brother's like, was this an hour before it started or is it that empty?
I just wanted to let everyone know, because we do have people watching right now. If you do leave a comment, we will put it on the screen, guys. Just comment if you want anything for us to talk about. All right, let's get into some baseball here. The Dodgers pulled it off, buddy.
It was a good game. Darvish pitched a gem, but he just couldn't get any fucking run support.
Yeah. I guess, it's good for baseball that the Dodgers didn't blow it, I guess.
Dodgers and Mets.
Mets. Yeah.
I want a Subway series.
A lot of people do, man. A lot of people have been telling me that. And it's actually surprising to me, especially because of how much the Yankees are hated.
Yeah.
Like
I don't hate, like, literally, I mean, I'm wearing a Giants hat right now, but I'm a Twins fan. Like, literally the only teams I hate are Boston and the White Sox. I used to hate the Yankees when I was a kid, but I'm like, I don't really have a reason to. Like, I really only hate Boston and the White Sox, and the White Sox are fucking horrible. So
who do you got in this is actually a full-on division thing for you here. I believe. No, Indian
and Cleveland.
Yeah. So who do you think's taking that one? Oh man.
I think Cleveland, like, they just never fucking lose. So Cleveland,
they never lose.
Like, I would just always look at the scores and the standings the whole season. Like, they never fucking lost.
Yeah. They had a really good year. But then, like you said, well, we've detailed this before, that the Tigers, their overall record is not an indicator of what they were the second half of the year.
They were like 10 back in like August.
Yeah, so they deserve a lot of respect, dude. They really do.
They went on a run that wasn't documented like some runs are, but ever since that series that game they play at the Little League World Series, that's like, to me, that's like when they got hot. Because I remember they do that game on Sunday Night Baseball, and I was watching it just because there was nothing else on, and it was the Tigers and Yankees. I'm like, oh, this is boring because the Tigers are out of the playoffs. This game doesn't mean anything. Then a month later, the Twins go on another September collapse. And
after that game, they went 31-13.
That was their turning point.
It was. It's so weird to look at what can cause a complete turnaround. Like, who would have thought? Like you said, and also up until that point, it was a boring fucking game.
Yeah,
it was a rough watch, dude. But people watched it because it's a novelty. You're playing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Field of Dreams game they did.
That was fucking awesome, dude. I loved that Field of Dreams. It was cool as shit, dude. I loved it.
I wish they'd do it like every year, honestly.
That's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to turn into a yearly thing.
Yeah, and then they only did it that one year.
Yeah, well, they need to rethink that, I think.
I saw a TikTok last night, and it was since they brought back college football video game, this dude's like, I want to start hearing the pinging of those steel bats.
Dude, if they ever brought aluminum bats to the MLB, there'd be murders on the field.
No, not that. Because there's a college football game back, this dude wanted them to bring back the college baseball game too.
Oh, that would be kind of cool.
I played every college game. I had the basketball when I was a kid. I had football, of course, but I never played that.
I've never played it either, actually.
I just remember it was on PS2 and it had a dude in a Texas Longhorns jersey on the cover, but I never played it.
With no name on the back of his jersey, just
freshman number 3.
Yeah. I do want to get into the slate of college football games this week, because holy shit, man, goddamn. All right, we'll start with I guess we'll start with number one. We'll start with the number one ranked team here, because college football, it's been a great year so far, man. It really it's actually better than the pros.
I'm mad because Minnesota's 500, but like I said, we're probably never going to be in the playoff or anything like that, but our coach knows how to fucking develop people because we got all these NFL players. But last week we were playing 10th ranked USC, and it was while Bad Blood and then UFC was on. So I'm like, call me an unloyal fan, but I got other things to watch. And then we fucking upset USC.
You did.
We're 3-3 now. We play UCLA tonight at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
that's in California. That's at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. And the Rose Bowl is such a beautiful stadium, man. It really is. It's really fucking nice.
Hockey too. Minnesota Wild played the Cracklin today, but in Minnesota.
One day we have to get into the story of why we call them the Cracklin.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. Let's start with number one here. We got Texas, Oklahoma. Bad blood there between them always. It's the Red River rivalry. Throw the records out the window here. And it's not like the Oklahoma's bad. They're 4-1. Texas is 5-0. I'm a betting man, and I'm not touching that game because it can go either way. Mm-hmm. It really can. We got Penn State, USC. Banger. It is at USC, so that may change, something here. Got Penn State 5-0, USC 3-2, Florida, Tennessee. Man, if I was in either place, I would empty my bank account to attend that game. Motherfucker. Yeah, go ahead.
UW and Iowa are playing right now in Iowa, not in Seattle, where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I don't know how to call that one, really.
They're tied right now. It's 7-7.
Yeah, see, it's going to be a tight game down to the wire. We got Ohio State, Oregon. And Oregon, I'm not sure if you've seen their blackout jerseys they're busting out for this game. But
I haven't yet, no.
Oh, man, let me pull these up for you. Let's see.
Did you know that – because Oregon has all the craziest Nike shit because the founder of Nike went to Oregon.
Yeah.
And
yep.
I learned this. That you get all these literally one of one pairs of shoes and Jordans and jerseys and hoodies and shit. And if they're player and team exclusive and you're not supposed to resell them, but some guys do, and that's how they wind up on the sneaker resale market.
Oh, hey, that kind of makes sense.
My old classmate played, and I know him pretty well. He played at the University of Oregon, and now he's playing. Now he's on the New Orleans Saints. He was on the Giants till last year, but now he's on the Saints.
All right, let me see if this is showing here. Let's see, oop, we gotta scroll down more. Come on now, come on, damn it! Is it showing?
Yep.
No. Okay, yeah, dude, look at these fucking things, dude. All right, so fucking sick, dude.
They never wear the same uniform twice, and like ever since they started having the crazy uniforms in the late 2000s, they've never worn them. They never wear the same uniform twice. And like, even like all the coaches and shit all have like jackets and shit. I remember watching like with my dad, because they're local to the area, where I live, and my dad's like, "What the fuck do they do with all the jackets and sweats that they wear one time?"
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, they can keep them, but it's like
maybe
it's
they
like
have like
they make all this shit to wear one time, one game. That's it. And it's cool.
Yeah,
but
I mean, maybe they have like a museum or something.
They could, yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember that. That game, Ohio State and Oregon. That's a rematch of the 2009 Rose Bowl. Terrell Pryor.
That could be why that they're doing something special.
Terrell Pryor, and then the quarterback for Oregon, because this was when Oregon State was like really on the rise. Because then the next year they went to the national championship, but they lost to Cam Newton and Auburn. It was at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium, and But then their quarterback, when they lost to Terrell Pryor and Ohio State, was some dude named Jeremiah Masoli, and he got like he got in a bunch of trouble. I think he transferred to like some smaller shit after Oregon because he got in a bunch of trouble. And then, but then they had Darren Thomas, who never made it in the NFL, but he was one of those like typical college quarterbacks who was like tall and lanky and could run and shit. But then that game could never translate to like the pro game. But he's the one that took him to the national championship when they lost to Ohio State. And then their quarterback was Mariota, who's still kicking in the NFL. And then their quarterback was like one or two guys who were whatever. It was kind of a transition period. And then they had Herbert, who is a star now.
Yeah, and you know what? Herbert, that guy has been fucked by bad coaching. And
he's been fucked by bad coaching, and it also sucks being in the same division as Patrick Mahomes.
That doesn't help.
That's like the AFC East and having to be in the same division as Brady for 20 years.
And honestly, though, Brady had the benefit of that entire division sucked for the majority of his career. So,
the Jets were always horrible. The Bills were horrible until recent years.
Yeah.
Dolphins, they're just always garbage. They're garbage now because they don't have a quarterback.
I wonder if part of that is just being like, why bother?
Yeah, right.
All
these other teams in the AFC West like want to compete. It's just hard.
Yeah.
The only other there's been other years where arguably like every team has been good in that division, but now every team fucking sucks in that division besides Chargers and Chiefs, of course. The Raiders are horrible. Like, I always think like that I have it hard as a Vikings fan, but it would being a Raiders fan for the last 20 years, it's got to be so fucking
shit on them, dude.
Because after the Vikings game in London got over early last week, I was at my dad's house just watching the later games, and my dad's like, the Raiders are so shitty. Because like they're like a team in no direction. Like, it's one thing to be fucking shitty, but have like a rookie quarterback that's developing and shit. But like they have nobody. They have Devontae Adams, who's older and he's gonna get traded, and like they don't have anyone. Yeah. And the Broncos are. Well, I don't think the Broncos are very good, and I think that they'll enter.
I think that the Broncos are good. I really do. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but I think that they're going to come close. I think they're going to come close. Too.
And they're the Thursday night game next week. It's Sean Payton's first time back to New Orleans.
Rivalry game.
Yeah,
it's so weird to have a rivalry game as a coach.
Yeah,
weird.
it's like McCarthy going back to Green Bay. Has that happened yet? I assume it's happened. He's been Dallas' coach for a few years.
No. They've come to us.
Okay.
We have not returned to them. No. Yeah. But we are a little bit more than halfway through. We could take a quick little 10-minute break if you'd like, because we do have two other things to cover. One of them's going to take a little bit of time. We have the creepiness of wrestling fans, which actually this is going to be fun both ways, because if you are a wrestling fan, you know exactly what what we're going to be talking about.
If you're not, just
you're going to
also on
you're
the break, I noticed there's a few spelling errors on the bottom line.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, okay. College doesn't have an E, and I think wrestling creepiness is spelled wrong, I think.
Oh shit!
If you want to fix that during the break, I just noticed
yeah.
While we were recording.
I will fix that.
But yeah, we'll take 10. We'll be back at like 20.
Right. You're right. Creepy. Okay, let's see here. All right. Yeah, so I'll fix these, and we'll be back with the correct ticker. When do you want to return?
20 after is fine.
All right. We'll be back at 20. Yeah, 9 minutes. All right, guys. We'll be right back. All right. We made an early comeback for you guys. The other thing I meant to mention that we had to get into is Stench of the Week. So, do you want to end with Stench of the Week, or do you want to end with the wrestling stuff?
We can do Stench of the Week and end with the wrestling stuff.
All right. Let's see here.
Something I found real quick from we were talking about it last episode. The Texarkana, Arkansas.
Yeah. Okay. I'm pulling up the reviews right now. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and share this here. And thank you for everyone watching live. A lot of people watch afterwards. I think we have more because it's earlier in the day and there's not much going on. So let's get right into this here. So this week we have the Wyndham Garden Texarkana here. And all right.
I peeked at a few of the reviews this morning when I was.
Okay.
They're all just
to give people a look of the kind of place that we're dealing with here with some photos before we get into it. Okay.
It's a star and a half.
What was it?
It's a star and a half.
Yeah, it's not the best place. Did you want to start with Gloria B here?
Yeah. I mean, what's funny about, like, don't get me wrong, like, you'll read bad reviews of places, but it's always like stupid shit like, oh, there wasn't enough towels. It's like, who cares? Like, okay, like I'm staying in a hotel right now that's like it's clean, it's great, but it's a little bit older. So it's like, but I'm like, bro, what more can I ask for one fucking night? Like, unless you're on like some 1 week vacation, if you're just at a place for a night or two, you can just live without some shit. As long as I have a shower with soap and shit and a clean bed and the place is overall clean, I don't care if there's some fucking marks on the wall or shit like that. But yeah, a lot of people are always like, oh, the shower didn't drain properly. Like, deal with it for one fucking day. But I'll start with this one from Gloria B in Fort Worth, Texas. It says the hotel is just okay. A new hotel a few years ago. We stayed here just after it opened. In the meantime, it has really gone downhill. The rooms already look beat up, and there's a lot of little things that, to me, signal management is not trying to keep up standards. I think you can do better for the same or slightly higher price in the area. The desk lamp doesn't even have a shade on it. Like, that's stupid, but, like, who really gives a fuck? I don't care.
As long as you're getting light.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
It doesn't have the coffee. The chair in the room has some stains on it, some questionable stains for sure. That's some questionable.
I would say it's pretty questionable. Yeah.
Put that under a black light.
Yeah. Or don't.
I've watched that. You should watch it. There's this YouTube series on YouTube done by Dan Bell, who does the best abandoned exploration shit. But he started doing this series called Another Dirty Room, where him and these other two guys go and get like the crappiest flea bag motels, and then they get black lights and they get shit like shit to test like how dirty something is, and they get black lights and it's awful. But anyway, the coffee at breakfast is so weak, it's more like flavored water. The coffee maker in the room is missing the tray. Who gives a fuck? Live without a coffee maker for one fucking day. In some, it's price. Like, I wouldn't stay here, but who cares about the goddamn coffee maker for one day?
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, you're near a hotel. There's places to get coffee.
Yeah, you're in a hospital. If there's a hotel nearby, there's other hospitality things nearby.
Yeah, like, come on, dude. Silly complaint. Okay. In some, its price is competitive with other similar level hotels in the area. So what the fuck are you complaining about then, dude? But it's not up to Wyndham or Garden standards. Well, no shit, dude.
Yeah, right.
It's a budget motel. So what are you expecting, dude? Recommend you to look elsewhere. We sure will next time. Okay. Well, go ahead. Do that.
1 star from Melissa. I've stayed at sketchy hotels, motels, and this is by far the worst hotel I have ever stayed at. This place is incredibly disgusting. Like, no one ever cleans here. Every single thing is disgusting here. The sheets are gross and furniture look like they've been splooged on. The elevators are also real sketchy. A huge majority of the buttons are literally taped up, and I question if I'm going to get out of the elevator alive. Do yourselves a favor and find a better place elsewhere. I will.
I mean, the elevator shit would scare me because I kind of have a fear. Like, I'm not scared of much, but one of them is being stuck in a hotel, not a hotel, but in an elevator.
Yeah.
Because, man, if that shit drops, you're done for.
So, yeah. Well, I've been on the Tower of Terror, but you're strapped in.
Right. Yeah, but I don't want the Tower of Terror experience.
Yeah. I only want that when I'm strapped in.
Yeah.
Speaking of elevators, like the pyramid in Las Vegas, the Luxor, like because it it goes up like this. So when you stay on the upper floors, like I have both times I've stayed there, the elevator does this crazy shit where like sways back and forth as it's going up.
Oh wow! Oh no. Yeah. That one is that's the Jigsaw Hotel.
Yeah, right. They always say it's haunted because it's like got the Egyptian theme and stuff, and people died during the construction of it. We'll have to do a little bit of a dive on that for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
John R. from Arlington, Texas. Breakfast was part of the reason I chose this hotel. No breakfast. What? No breakfast and no reason why. Elevators didn't work either. Last time that I'm staying here, I'm like, okay, if you're going to unless you're like rich and you're staying at like the fucking Ritz-Carlton or some shit, like who the fuck cares about breakfast? I don't give a fuck. Usually I sleep in hotels anyway, so the breakfast is already closed.
Yeah, and also, I mean, if it comes down to it, just hit Burger King for the 2 for $5.
Yeah, there's probably like a fucking Denny's or some shit nearby.
Yeah, get a Grand Slam and shut your mouth.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got here?
Don't stay here. Rooms not very clean. Most ice machines not working. Only one very slow elevator. Working very slow. Who the fuck cares about ice? Live without fucking ice for what? Like shit like that is just nitpicky to me. Like people are so it's like such first world problem shit. I don't give a fuck about ice.
Yeah. As long as your door locks,
as long as your door as long as my door locks and everything is clean and there's shower gel, I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
We'll do this one. We'll do 2 more. This one says, I spent 2 nights here a week apart. A deal online via a third-party site. I had to switch rooms twice due to an uncleaned room. The front desk was nice and no problem, no questions asked. To switch rooms twice. Wyndham Garden in name only. This hotel, an older hotel that has remodeled and rebranded. Unfortunately, the remodeling needs to be redone. It wasn't bad, but a lot of bad sheetrock work. Who gives a fuck? Broken elevators and see, I don't like this shit. Broken security locks on the door. I can see
that's not great.
Repaired DIY style. This hotel really makes me question the Wyndham brand. First visit, a janky elevator, broken control panel, missing ceiling. Missing ceiling panel and shakiness. 2 elevators, but was never lucky enough to get a ride in elevator number 1. First room hadn't been cleaned, some trash, sticky bathroom floors, and 2 doors with broken security door latches. 1 door had several screw holes and attempts to fix the latch. Sign of the maintenance or sign of the area. Front desk had no problem on getting us a new room. I noticed the couple who had checked in after us apparently needed to swap rooms. The new room was clean, but it also had broken security latches. Otherwise, the room quality was surprisingly good. Decent bed with a handful of recent pillows. Passed on breakfast. There's a convenient IHOP nearby. So why is that other person bitching about no breakfast? There's a goddamn IHOP nearby.
Yeah,
First
exactly.
room assigned was the same room a week prior. Similar uncleaned condition, almost as if this room hadn't been cleaned in a week. Thankfully, no problem on switching rooms. Elevator issue. addressed with out of order sign, use the service elevator down the hall. However, I couldn't easily find the service elevator and use the regular elevator. They didn't even turn off the broken elevator to, thankfully, the new room was on the first room and it was decent. Well, I spent too much time rambling about this place. Yeah, you definitely did.
Well,
like I've said before, go ahead.
I actually want to comment about this review. Now, the hotel might not have been up to your standards.
Yeah.
However, you want to know what? They actually did the right thing each time. So it's not like that you complain and they said, "Oh well, too bad, man, you're fucking stuck with it." Each time that you complained, they did something to fix it.
Yeah.
So I really think this is like a privileged asshole.
Yeah, right.
They did what they could do. They probably know that the hotel, you know, they're probably gonna get some renovations and stuff, whatever, soon, and they're willing to do what needs to be done to correct the problem.
Yeah.
So fuck this guy for his review, I think.
Titled asshole. What's his name? Scroll up.
Let's see. His name is Blake B.
Fuck you, Blake B from East Houston, Texas.
Yeah. I'm actually on the hotel side on this one here, actually.
Me too. You know, they're trying their best.
Yeah. Like this shit. Guy, dude, like I said,
sounds like another what?
It would be different if they were just like, sorry, dude, that's your luck. You know, but
there was hookers walking around and shit like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, where I live in Yakima, I mean, I live like 20 minutes away in like the residential kind of suburban part, but I mean, granted, it's not like a big city with suburbs, but what they call North First Street is like a mini Skid Row, and there's a lot of like shitty, sketchy by the hour motels down there. So we'll definitely look at some reviews on those. There's specifically one called like it's those hotels that like you could tell in like the 60s they look fucking awesome, but now they're these prostitute fucking domiciles. Like there's one called the Red Apple Motel because that's like one of Washington's main exports is apples. And there's another one, and it's got like a cool light. It's got like cool like neon lights and shit, but it's a shithole. Then there's another one called the Bali High Motel, and it's got like this cool, colorful neon light, but again, it's a fucking shithole. But yeah, we'll definitely review those. We'll see what Stephen W. his entitled ass is up to, and then we'll move on. It says -10 would be more appropriate.
Wow. Okay. Let's see what you got.
What a rotten motel. My wife and I have stayed at a lot of motels during our travels between Chicago and Beaumont, Texas. Beaumont is like the Houston area. We made some route changes and decided to stay the night in Texarkana, Arkansas. Without exception,
maybe that was your first mistake.
Yeah, right. Without exception, the very worst motel ever. Dirty, smelly. Toilet was louder than a locomotive.
Oof.
Carpets dirty, no ironing board, and entering the room, it was all I could do to force the door open. The front desk clerk was from a foreign country and had to ask for everything to be repeated slowly and clearly. Clerk had zero knowledge of local restaurants. Breakfast was easy to pass up. Yuck! We couldn't wait to pack up and leave. No way will we ever stay here again. We said the clerk had zero knowledge of local restaurants. Like, maybe it's okay to have some, but like, you can't expect every hotel clerk to be fucking Anthony Bourdain. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, really. And I mean, honestly, if they're hiring a guy who speaks broken English, even if he did know, he's probably gonna not he's not gonna know how to convey this to you.
Yeah.
So, man, we couldn't wait to pack up and leave. We will never stay here again. They probably wouldn't like to have you back either, buddy.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Love to see it. Hate to see him go. Love to watch him leave.
Yeah. There was this one place here during COVID. It shut down, and it was like before COVID, it was like a go-to spot, man. People loved it. It was called the Patio Inn. It wasn't a hotel. It was like a lunch/dinner, eatery kind of thing.
Yeah.
And man, they were killing it. They had really good business. And the owner decided to go on Facebook and rant. And this is exactly what he said. I'm not like inserting any words or anything like that, my own personal feelings about anything. But he went on Facebook during COVID and he was like, unfortunately, we have to shut down due to the China virus. That's what he said. We have to shut down because of the China virus. And people fucking lost it, dude. And everything went under ever since that, dude. Like, you can just go on there and just say, no matter your personal feelings about it, just go on there and just, we had to shut down due to COVID, and people would have understood and been like, all right, cool. But you had to go on there and make it political and basically racial in a way and say, due to the China virus. And yeah, people did not respond well.
If you own a business, a successful one at that, regardless of your political views, you still got to act pretty politically correct. You know what I mean?
I agree. 100 million %.
There was a guy in Yakima who he wouldn't close down it. I think he owned all the like Anytime Fitnesses, which is like a chain of gyms here. He wouldn't close them down during lockdown, and people kept like reporting him and shit. And he went on like Fox News like a bunch of times to like talk about this shit.
Yeah.
His name was like Wes Bradshaw or some shit.
And like I said, I have my own personal political views and whatever. However, if I did that, I would keep that shit to myself. I'm not going to go in there and ruin my business because I feel a certain type of way. You know what I mean? The ticker was corrected, by the way. I did correct that. But we do have a little bit of something to get into in regards
to of wrestling.
Yeah. So creepy wrestling fans is
almost when you'll deal like even as a fellow fan, you'll deal with them yourself. And it'll like make you like hate wrestling just a little bit. It's happened to me a few times.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into this here. As we said, if you are a wrestling fan, then you know exactly what we're talking about. If you don't,
if you're not, it's a good comedic bit. You'll learn about it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I want to bring people into the wrestling sphere, but stuff like this does. Yeah. It's a stereotype, and unfortunately, it rings true. So let me go ahead and pull this up here. And this is something that we brought together here. Let's see here. Okay. Pull this up here. Okay. This is a PowerPoint presentation that we came up with here. So wrestling fans just in general, and I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I see it a lot to where people blame wrestling fans for running Kat Dennings off of Twitter for sharing her wrestling opinions because they didn't align with hers. And let's be honest, and people are like, well, you make it seem like she was tweeting about WWE all the time. That's not the point. The point is that wrestling fans as a whole, you don't know how to deal with women.
You don't. You want to hit that slideshow button?
Let me see if I can
up top it. There, top in the middle.
Oops.
Slideshow. Below it.
Oh, yes. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
From beginning, maybe.
Yeah, this is the first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so it looks like that other one we did, the movie one.
Well, the other one I did was on Google, I think, and this one, yeah. So for the future, the Google one works a lot better for what we do.
Okay, but when you hit from beginning up there, up top left?
Let me see.
Top left.
Let me see here. Slideshow. And then
go
we go
to left. From beginning. Hit.
Yes.
Right there.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's just how it shows on Microsoft.
It doesn't do anything? It's fine, then. It's fine like this, but yeah.
So next time we'll use the Google one.
That's fine. Before. Yeah, I think I sent it as Microsoft PowerPoint. That's why I did that. But it doesn't really matter.
All right, so See what I'm saying when I say wrestling fans don't know how to deal with women?
And if you go back to the first one, that's the same guy.
Is it? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh god!
He got fatter, uglier, and longer hair.
Okay. All right. All right. So you can just tell for people who don't know, who don't watch wrestling, this is Becky Lynch. She's been gone for a while, but at this point, she was a really big deal.
My screen shows the Alexa Bliss.
It should scroll up. Let me see.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the same guy.
I'm just trying to double. Is it still the same guy? What the fuck?
No. It's good. It's on the Becky Lynch.
Okay.
Alexa Bliss one a second ago.
Okay, so this guy right here, you can just tell by the look in Becky's eyes.
Fucking horrified.
Yeah, she doesn't want no parts of this fucking guy, dude. Like at all.
One thing I learned about wrestling fans, and just in general, there's cringy porn conventions, UFC, all this other shit.
Yeah.
I fucking cringe because I've been to Royal Rumble Access. That's where I've met the most wrestlers. And then I've been to a bunch of UFC meet and greets. When you talk to a famous person, just like as if they're your friend, they're going to respect you way more than some weird ass. Because not only are there guy creepy fans, there's girl ones too that are creepy who like fucking bring the wrestlers like gifts and stuffed animals and shit. Like to me, that's weird. But like,
yeah. The one I think handled it best is the one that gave CM Punk the bracelet, dude. She was nice, and she was nice enough. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't the intention, but nice enough to where, it turned into a fucking storyline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, and plus, like, why are you hugging her, dude? She didn't.
Yeah, well, not even hugging her. You're doing like an awkward prom pose picture.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Like when I know you've seen my picture with Lola Vice, but it was before she was in WWE. It was when she was still MMA as Valerie Loretta. Yeah. I am like a hover hand world champion in that picture. And when I posted it on Twitter, she retweeted it, and all these random dudes were taking like screenshots, just zooming in on my hand, just hovering above her shoulder. And I remember some guy was like, "Man, this dude kept himself super composed in the presence of a super dime." I'm like, well, that's how you score girls like that. By having fucking composure, not being a weirdo.
Yeah, I don't want to give this chick the impression that you're the finest thing that I've ever fucking been around.
Yeah. Like, you know, like in terms of pursuing girls you like, if you treat her like a celebrity, she's gonna treat you like you're her fan.
Yeah, and
the other way around.
Yeah, and like I'm not saying that the goal should be to like, I'm gonna score this chick, but it's just the presence that you bring shouldn't be like, oh my god, like all freaked out and shit. It's supposed to be like, for example, if I was to meet, say, like I don't know, like my favorite dude is Gunther, I wouldn't walk up and be like, oh my god, you're Gunther, dude, give me a hug. I'm gonna shake his hand and be like, yo, you're a fucking boss, dude.
Yeah.
And he would respect that. This shit right here is not being respected, dude. She probably talked about this shit all weekend. Yo, this guy, a creepy fucking dude, came up to me and hugged me like he was like my husband's best man in his wedding. Like, I'm so proud of you. What the fuck are you doing, buddy? What are you doing?
Fucking disgusting. And that Alexa Bliss one, the next one, that's the same dude.
Now,
he just grew his.
He's actually worse with her. He's worse with her because he's trying to get a hold of her fucking waist.
Yeah, it's disgusting, dude. I don't even like it. I hate, like, even in just generally in wrestling, like when people are in the crowd or like the Shield coming down the stairs.
Yeah,
it pisses me off when everybody's like patting them on the back. It's like, bro, they're still fucking human beings. They don't want to be touched like they're.
Yeah, they're not.
You know what I mean?
They're not fucking farm animals where it's like.
Yeah, right. It's not a fucking petting zoo. Like that always pissed me off. Even when I was younger, I'm like, why do they do that shit? They're not fucking animals. I don't even treat an animal like that.
What do you really get out of it? Be like, yo, when Seth Rollins is coming down the ramp, I slapped him on his fucking shoulder. Okay.
But like, for example, there's a time and a place for it. So like, for example, this one time, I went to a house show here in Seattle, actually. It was on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And it was like 3 weeks before the San Francisco WrestleMania 31.
Yeah.
And one of the matches was Roman Reigns versus Big Show. And me and my brother were in the first row.
Yeah.
And Roman Reigns and Big Show were fighting like right in front of us. And Roman Reigns clotheslined the Big Show. And I just put my hand out like this. And Roman Reigns slapped it as hard as he could to give me a high five. And then he just went and continued beating on Big Show.
See, now that's different because that's their choice.
Yeah.
They're choosing to interact with you.
Yeah.
You know, it's you didn't force the situation, like
of course. And it made it fun and it made it for a good memory as opposed to I fondled them when I were walking down the stairs in front of me. And what's funny is that same show. This is when the New Day were still really new, and I can't remember who they were wrestling, but Big E, Kofi and Xavier were in the tag team match, and then Big E was just there, like outside of the ring, being their supporter, and Big E was standing like literally right in front of us. So I just was like, Big E, and then he turned around to me and my brother, and he was like, "Yo, man, I see you guys, I see you," and then he dapped us both up.
There was one I went to. It was, I forget who it was, but the Usos were there, and one of them, I think it was Jimmy. He threw his hat into the crowd, and it was a perfect throw, man. It was a perfect throw. Dude had his hands on it and shit, right? And completely dropped it, and some other kid got it, and he noticed. And Jimmy looked at the dude, and he's like, "Yo, you fucked up, right?" Because it was right to him, dude. And at a house show, you can have those kind of moments to interact.
Of course,
Like on TV, you can't do that.
But on TV, everything's got to be damn near perfect.
Right. But it was just so funny, dude, that he noticed, and he actually said, he looked right at the dude, and he was like, "You fucked up. It was right to you."
Yeah,
plus, obviously, like they were heel at the time because it was bloodline shit.
Yeah.
So it made it even funnier, dude. He was like, "You fucked up."
This was the end of 2010. And I went to a house show in Yakima, and then they were in Tri-Cities the next weekend, so I went to both. And there was this creepy fucking hillbilly toothless dude that was by us at both shows. Both shows, CM Punk fucking got into it with him. And at the second show in Tri-Cities, he walked right up to the dude because they were in the first row, we were in the second.
Yeah.
He walks right up to this hillbilly that's like missing all his teeth, and CM Punk looks right at him in the face and goes, "What the fuck's wrong with your teeth? You should go to the fucking dentist."
Oh, wow.
And then during the match, I think he was just wrestling like Kofi Kingston, and he had Kofi Kingston like in a hold, like on the ground, where you go like that. Yeah, he had Kofi Kingston on the ground in a hold, and the same dude's still yelling just stupid shit at CM Punk. He's like, "Nice haircut, Punk," like shit like that. And while he has Kofi Kingston in the hold, he's just like, "Shut up, you idiot! Shut up!"
One of the funniest ones I've seen too of videos like that is when someone was trying to heckle Kevin Owens, and he was wrestling Roman Reigns at the time, so they're both on the mat, and someone was talking shit to Kevin Owens, and he just went off to the point to where Roman Reigns was laughing when he had him in a fucking headlock, and he was like, "You know how much money I make?" He's like, he's like, "Do you want to know how much I moved in merch this year?" He's like, "It'd make you sick." And Roman Reigns is just sitting there, bro, and he's trying his best not to laugh. Like he had to turn his head and fucking do this shit on the mat. I love shit like that, dude. I really do. It's one of my favorite parts of wrestling, dude.
It almost the little shows, the house shows, can almost be better than TV sometimes just because of those interactions.
Yeah, shit that you can't do on TV. It's definitely way more fun for the talent. Let's see who we got next here. Oh, man. Okay.
No one looks, there's not an ounce of comfort in this picture.
Yeah, the guy getting the picture looks really uncomfortable. And Sasha's like, "Yo, what the fuck, dude? Like, leave me alone."
Come on, all right.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if he like begged for it. Be like, "Please, it's only 10 seconds, please." And then she's like,
one time, this was back when they used to film SmackDown on Tuesdays and then air it on Fridays. I had gone to the house show in Yakima on Sunday.
Yeah.
Raw was in my. Who the fuck is that?
What?
Who's Jake Young?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is a dude. This is a dude that I made a comment. I made a comment under someone's post, and so this guy actually fucking thank you for viewing, bro. He's a troll. So he was a troll. I made a comment under the @Buffy's account, right?
Yeah.
And I had made a comment because she put a post up, and I'm going to leave it up to you to what I said. And the post was, it starts with a J and everybody hates it. Okay. My natural response was a 4-letter word of a group of people. Okay.
Yeah.
And he sent me a meme saying that like I'm a racist and a bigot and shit like that. Yeah. And for some reason, he must have checked the profile and checked it out. So thank you for viewing, bro. I appreciate it, buddy. I really do.
I was like, that just came out of nowhere. But
actually, hold on, I'm gonna put it up there. There we go. All right, thanks, buddy. If you really believe that, you're an idiot. One of my best friends is a burly black guy. So I know that that's an excuse that people use, but me and him go way back about 10 years now. I'm actually seeing him on Thursday. So I'll actually let him know that you said that, and then we'll laugh about it together. Thank you.
I forgot what I was talking about.
Yeah, me too. Shit. Fuck you, Jake Young. You got me off my train of thought here.
What?
But,
yeah, I remembered. It was the time I went to I went to the house show in Yakima on Sunday. Raw was in Portland on Monday, and then SmackDown was in Seattle on Tuesday. And but I was flying on Wednesday to go to Minnesota to visit my family and shit. And I was sitting at the airport, and I saw Byron Saxton just walk by because they were flying to the next city or something after doing Seattle. But I didn't go bother him, but I saw him walk by.
I actually met Jonathan Coachman at a Raw in 2000. What was it? 2002 or 3, I think. No. Actually, it was the SmackDown that we talked about last time.
The one before Survivor Series.
Yeah. And he was walking into the building. Oh shit, it's Jonathan Coachman. He was the nicest guy, dude. Nicest fucking dude. Yo, can I get a picture? Yeah, absolutely, man. And he gave all of us a picture. Me, Sean, his ex-wife, all of us, man. He nicest dude ever, man.
I actually just saw a TikTok last night about it was like funniest WWE pyro moments. And it was back when the Raw broadcasters used to be like up by the entrance ramp. Yeah. And it was Coach and Lawler and JR, and Coachman didn't know the Kane explosion was happening, and he fucking fell backwards in his chair.
Yeah, well, me and you have both talked about this before too. His explosion is fucking hot, dude.
Yeah, Undertaker's too. And when I went to SmackDown like a month ago, I was sitting very close to the stage side where the pyros go off. And I was, whenever it was a certain couple guys, I would like already prepare to cover my ears because I was so close to it.
Yeah, dude. And I was second deck, right? So
yeah,
it was also my first like taping event. So you see it on TV and you're just like, yeah, I bet that's kind of hot. Dude, second deck, I felt it on my fucking face, dude.
Yeah.
That fucking hot.
That was how I felt about Undertaker at No Way Out 2009. The flares of fire going up.
Now, this last one here actually has some lore to it.
It's got a whole Reddit thread to it.
So this guy, I'll lead into it, but you can talk about it a little more.
This guy, I don't know. This guy,
like he tracked him down. He traveled to do this on purpose.
He would. So there's a few pictures, but for some reason I could only find this one. They started referring to him as the Shield Stalker, and this was way back in like 2014, 2015, and I didn't understand why they called him that. And then I asked someone, I'm like, why are they calling him the Shield Stalker? He's like, because every single week at an airport or something, he would have a picture with the Shield, and in every single picture, they would increasingly look more annoyed along the way.
Well,
which they
yeah,
do
dude,
right there.
I would too, because you fucking remember. You're like, yo, this guy again.
It's one thing if you meet him again years later, but like that's almost like some John Lennon type shit.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, when it first started, they were okay with it because it's just a fan. I mean, you're a wrestler, you get it, dude.
Yeah.
People want pictures. After, I even think like the second time they were cool.
Yeah.
And then it turned into like a recurring fucking theme, dude. And they're probably getting to a point where like, yo, okay, this fucking guy, like, what are you trying to do? Isn't one picture enough to be like, I met him?
And there's another one where it's like from this same day because they all have the same clothes on.
Yeah.
And he has like the picture of them all together, but then he has another one of like with each guy individually.
just schizophrenic behavior, or maybe it's not schizophrenic, but whatever it is, it's obsessive behavior is what it is. It's
obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yeah, and like a need to be seen, I guess. Just like this Jake Young guy, because he put up a meme in response to it, and he tried to ratio me, and it didn't happen.
Yeah,
and I think he's mad about it still.
Well, yeah, that was
this just happened this morning.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
No, it was this morning. It was this morning.
Oh, it was again this morning? Okay.
Yeah, and like it just didn't work, and because people agreed with me more than him, I guess, and because he didn't get his ratio, I guess he decided to. Well, like I said, dude, thanks for watching.
Yeah, we got another viewer.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. He must have checked my profile to see it. So,
which means he's checking up like a fangirl would. Yeah.
So I think it's safe to assume we earned another fan.
We earned another fan. What more can you ask for?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I think this pretty much concludes today.
We'd love to have you on sometime, Jake Young.
Yeah, hit me up, dude. Obviously, you checked my profile. Just shoot me a tweet. Well,
you're like an obsessed. You're like an obsessed ex-girlfriend.
Is he
seeing anybody else already?
He at a point, he's gonna be the next one on this this creepy fan kind of thing.
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on.
And when we do meet and greets, he's gonna hunt us down at every single one.
Just wear deodorant, unlike wrestling fans. Throw on a little bit of cologne and
shower at least once a day.
Please.
Wear that and get nicer body wash than like that Axe shit. Buy that kind of simplistic looking shit you can buy at like Target or Walmart. Like it's cheap. Yeah. It's only like $8. So like
dude.
You can put back one wrestling figure and it'll be the same price as deodorant and body wash.
Yeah, dude. Just get something. Get what you can afford. Get what you can afford.
They have it at the fucking Dollar Tree. So
hey, whatever you got to do, man. But I know that you have shit to do.
I'm checking out here in about an hour, and then I'm going to the Halloween store, and then the doors open for AEW at 3:30, so we'll be there right when it opens.
Yeah, so our next show, we will cover your experience at WrestleDream, of course, and whatever other happenings.
Have some more stuff docked up before Tuesday for sure.
Yeah. So whatever other happenings we have going on in our little world here. But just wanted to say thank you guys for tuning in. And I think it was a solid show, Jack. We're on a little bit of a run here. We're on a little bit of a run. We may have started the game, 0 for 2, but we went 2 for 4.
Now we're 3 for 5. Like we're 2 or 3 for 5. That's a good batting average. You just stayed in the cage,
Yeah. I'd say you give us a couple more, we'll be hitting about 350.
Yeah.
That's it. But all right, guys, thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate it, and we will see you on Tuesday night.
All right.
Peace. Election night live, November 5th.
It's coming up.
Yeah. We'll see you guys there. Peace. Take care of yourself, and be kind to others unless they're Jake Young.
Later.
Peace, man.